Okay, good day. We made the 3-hour trip yesterday. Got here last night about 7:30, and now it's about 7 in the morning on Saturday, and we're ready to head over to Donnelly. Um, we got so we're in Alberta, Minnesota, which is kind of out by that western thumb of Minnesota, right in the middle, and uh, they've gotten just a ton of rain. Um, More rain than I've seen in probably the last 20-25 years, and everything is just saturated. So I'll go for a walk around the house, but there's standing water everywhere. Um, you can see the drive here that I usually pull in. I kind of had to come in at an angle to stay on the high ground, but there's ruts and it's really soft. I probably would have gotten stuck if I tried to back up in there. Um, yeah, so unfortunately, Donnelly already canceled their tractor pull. Usually it goes from 2 to 4 on Saturday. They just kind of open up a strip in a field, and it's just too wet. So no tractor pull this year. So the plan here is we're gonna run the tractors over this morning, and then head back around 10 o'clock when everything really starts to amp up and spend the day out there. So just another example of how wet it is. In 1991, we had a lot more rain than this, and this section of road washed out. And I have footage that I'm hoping to find of this exact spot where the road was washed out. This culvert had water going through it at such a rate that it created a big whirlpool right out there, and it was sucking it through this culvert on the other side. You can see just how much force there is coming out of that culvert right now. If I remember right, I think there was a car that was sitting in it too. But boy, you can just hear it. That is a lot of water. That, of course, is the culvert that replaced the one that was in there. So that's where I backed the trailer in yesterday with the tractors on it. It sank down close to 6 inches. So that's that whole line of little Fords I had in the video last year. All underwater. There's so much water. However, I think they got these backwards. I really feel like that one should be on that end. But that's just my opinion. This is where they would normally hold the tractor pull. Like I said earlier, it's canceled. And it's just, even just walking through here, I'm sinking. There's typically a whole nother row of tractors here too, but none of them are back there. We'll make our way over to the other 2 Molines. So there's only 4 Minneapolis Molines here. 2 are mine, and then these 2 over here, and then there's the one Twin City KTI that I made the little short of. Wow, all the worms on the top of the soil here. It's a fisherman's dream. So here's an RTE. Basically the same as mine. I think it might be a little bit older. Not sure what's going on with the oil bath here. We got a little creative with PVC. Not sure why we needed to drop it. It's probably not the right oil bath. It looks too big. And we got a U. Those big curved over fenders, I like those, big and heavy. We got a style John Deere B, and behind it we've got this slick little table that was built out of another John Deere B. So all that's left is the rear axle. They stretched the frame out, and then they built a table so that as they go through the parade, people can sit at the table. This is a slick little unit, and I definitely plan on stealing that design. Probably not with a John Deere, but that would be so much fun. Very cool little unit. gas engines is the feature this year. So there's a ton of hidden misses here. Really cool lineup. And as if there hasn't been enough rain, we're starting to get sprinkled on again. Got a little number 44 John Deere 2-bottom plow. It's similar to the one that I've got in the front yard. Doing some actual thrashing. Looks like they got a hit and miss running the pulley today. This is always one of my favorite Allis's here. This one I think lives on the grounds. I'm pretty sure it gets put in a shed. Love those big steel wheels in the back. They took good care of this one. This one stays really looking nice all the time. Got proper stickerage. Big drawbar. Crank start. So here we got what appears to be an Allis 2-bottom plow. And on Allis and everything else, the pintle would be on the attachment and the pintle hitch would be on the tractor. On a Moline, it's opposite. So on a Moline, this would be on the tractor and then the pintle would be on the attachment. Very cool 2-bottom though. I like it. I think they were a little worried that we weren't going to have big enough tractors here to pull people out if they get stuck. We had to bring in the big guns. And then a McCormick Deering grader. So you got your crank start right here, and it's on a geared shaft so that it come out to the right and get out of the way of all this equipment. Hand cranks for raising and lowering the blade on each side. That'd be fun to putz around with. We got a D17 gas. a D15 gas. And they've got them parked side by side. I really love when you get an opportunity to do that and show the differences in the product line, just how big or small one was, what was really different about them. Did a really nice job on both of these. They look really good. So I've got the D17 at home. My headlights are mounted down here. They've got theirs up on the fender here. I don't know if that was an option thing or if that's how they're supposed to be, but I'd be interested to know. Looks like there was a handle on this fender for climbing on and off, so it kind of looks like this was probably from the factory, but I guess I'm not sure. If anybody knows the answer to that question, please post that in the comments. I know my D17, the cutout for the muffler isn't like this where you can drop this one so that it sinks in. It's something I'd like to do with mine, but again, I don't know what the differences were. I haven't really gotten into Allis-Chalmers that much to start to understand those little intricacies, but eventually it's coming, because I do plan on restoring the D17 that I have. It's got a rear light too, and that again, I don't know if this bracket, I mean, it looks factory to me. I can't, yeah, that looks like it would have been added on in the factory, so it's interesting. Did a nice job on them, for sure. My personal favorite. Okay, third parade of the year for the parade princess. Here we go. Woo!
Wait. I think this time really might get my
I think that's the end.
All right, Donnelly's done for the year. It's time to head home and get these guys put in the shed. We'll talk to you when we get back. And just like that, we're back home. We got the Molines back in the pull shed, and we're done traveling with tractors for the season. I do want to try to get to one more show at least, but I won't be bringing any tractors to it. So 3 weeks of hauling them around and unloading and loading is enough. So now they're tucked away, and we'll get them out a little bit this fall and drive them around the yard a little bit, but other than that, they're pretty much done for the year. And I was just looking back yesterday and realized that it was a year ago this weekend that I found out that that head was cracked, and I had a very different outlook on the fall and everything else. It's really amazing what a year's time will do. So at that point, I knew I needed a new head, and I knew that I needed to strip the engine back down, and I knew that I wasn't going to get anywhere near close to the goals that I had set. And this year, it was painted and together, and we went to 3 shows, and it ran in parades, and it's exactly how I wanted it to turn out at the end of last year. So all in all, great year show-wise. Had a lot of fun at all 3 shows that I've been to, and already starting to look forward to next year. Starting to look at shows with Moline features, and it looks like there's going to be one in Montevideo, Minnesota in June. So there's probably a pretty good chance that I'll be going to that one. And then Elmelund is going to be a Moline feature, so I will have everything at that one, and I will have the RTE running by then. In fact, that's still a goal for before it gets too cold to do anything, is get that put back together and started. Maybe not polished up, but at least to the point that it's running. So be looking for some of that on the feed yet this fall. We're going to play around with that sickle bar a little bit and start to get an idea of what all needs to be done to that. Yeah, and then whatever else I can fit in. Donnelly, we've got the shingle. They don't brand their shingles, they just stamp them. But nevertheless, another shingle, and they don't put the year on it, which is kind of unfortunate. So I have like 10 of these with no year. They're all the same. That's okay. And then, of course, the yearly button, wherever it is. The yearly button. And that's pretty much it for Donnelly. They don't have a flea market, so there's not a lot I can spend my money on. And I know earlier in the video I talked about having some film from 1991, and unfortunately I looked and I couldn't find it, at least not in a timely enough manner to be able to post this. So if I do find it, I will go back and re-edit it and put a different version of this up. But for now, I just put it up without it. So that's where I'm going to end this one. For those of you that have subscribed and are following, I thank you. And for those of you that are new to the channel, if you like what you see, please think about subscribing. But until next time, take your foot off the clutch, everybody. Thank you.